Welcome back to the channel as I continue my deep dive into the 2024 NFL Draft Class, and today we're talking about the running back position, which is a heck lot of fun. It's actually a really fun class, but I'll be talking about my top 10 in this video, and I'll talk about some guys at the end as well. But what's crack-a-lackin'? It's your boy Broshmo, just in case you did not know. So go ahead, become a bro and subscribe. Leave this video a thumbs up if you enjoy the content. As always, let me know what you think in the comment section below. Let's have that nice, beautiful, intimate football discourse. Let's go ahead, get into this sucker with number 10. I have Rasheed Ali out of Marshall. The dude was a former two-star recruit out of the 2019 class. Redshirted his freshman season in 2019. Saw minimal action in 2020, but broke into, or at least onto the scene in 2021, where he started all 13 games. He was first team All-Conference USA. It was a hell of a year. We were talking about this guy as a potential top 10 running back prospect in last season, but prior to the season, he stepped away from the team. Part of that was like rehabbing his knee and whatnot. So we were like, his football career, for us at least, was in question. But he does return to the team, ends up playing the final 3 games, looked really good, and I'm here to expect some good things from him in this upcoming season, because the dude's got game-breaking speed, explosiveness, change of direction. Like, the dude's feet is a quick. That's not English, but you know what I mean. He's very dangerous in the open field. He also brings in some good return experience. He's a guy that he can win with his speed. He can win with his shiftiness, but he's not afraid to roll up his sleeves and get physical, like he was going to take you out to the back of the bar and beat you. That's the type of rolling up the sleeves I'm talking about. He isn't shy. He won't shy away from contact. He plays with a good pad level. He showed good balance in 2021. Quite honestly, it's like a lot of my projection comes from what we saw in 2021. And to be fair, he didn't look half bad in the 3 games he played this past season. Now, the dude has just some ridiculous ability out in space, and he shows that as a receiving option as well. You just got to get this guy in motion, and he's just extremely difficult to keep up with. However, you go to 2021, you'll notice, ball security issues. The dude had like 6 fumbles. Not good. There are times he gets a bit too impatient and bouncy in the backfield, which resulted in like significant losses. Just needs to show more consistency in his vision as a ball carrier. And I would say, despite all that upside he presents in the receiving game, just being that good out in space, he runs the prototypical route tree for a running back. Ball skills are kind of meh, and the dude offers nothing in pass protection. But in terms of being an athlete, man, he's got it. He really does. I look really forward to seeing what he does this upcoming season. Now let's talk about number 9. Being Devin Neal out of Kansas. I was kind of shocked because there was a couple other guys I had in mind making this list, and Devin Neal was actually someone I watched last when in this first batch of running back prospects I checked out. Like overall, like just give you all a little behind the scenes, I managed to go through 26 different prospects, and I would say I got to about 20, and that's when I decided to go into Devin Neal, solely because I think I saw Ian Cummins come out with a list from Pro Football Network and had him in his top 10, and I was like, ooh, all right, let's check this cat out. So Devin Neal, former 4-star recruit from the 2021 class. He was also played basketball and baseball in high school, but baseball is the thing we want to target on there because he was dual sport. He played football and baseball all 4 years of college, and he actually signed with Kansas because he was going to be able to play baseball there as well. So his rookie season or freshman season for Kansas, he played in 11 games with 8 starts and went on to, in the spring, do baseball, where I think he had like 7 starts there for Kansas baseball team. And then this season for football had 12 starts and looked hella good in a very up year for Kansas. And then at that point, he was like, oh man, I think I might have a legit career in the NFL here. So he decided to quit baseball to solely focus on football. Because I think last season he couldn't participate in spring practices because it ran in conflict with baseball. But yeah, dude, Neal is just so stinking explosive. Like, he gets moving, and he gets moving in a hurry once he sees the lane. Like, he knows how to get skinny between tackles. He's just consistently hitting that second level. And I just really like the foot speed from him. He can go from slow to fast, like real quick in no time. He shows a nasty little like dead leg or false step in close quarters that enables him to get to the open field. And he's just leaving guys eating dirt with some of his moves, man. He shows creativity there, and I like that. I also really like that he just keeps his feet moving on contact. Like, if you're not new to the channel, regardless of position, I love guys that keep their feet moving through contact, and he does that, man. He won't go down to arm tackles. He's coming in at 5'11", 210, so that's a fine size. And really, you kind of got to get a clean hit on him if you hope to take him down. Now, I will say, long speed doesn't really match the short area quickness. He was someone that got caught from behind occasionally, and if a good example of that was against Tennessee Tech, a team that I would say competition that if you're fast, you shouldn't be getting caught from behind. So he had a few long runs like cut short. But to be fair, like, long speed's kind of whatever in today's NFL. If you could get yards in chunks, that's like home runs in the NFL are kind of few and far between anyway. So if you can get a guy that can just get consistently like that 4-6 yards on the ground, you're gonna take that. So not entirely a big concern. I will say his vision is a bit inconsistent, and he's like always trying to look to break the play to the outside, and this kind of resulted in his average yards per contact being relatively low. I say relatively low. It's like it's around that 3 to sub 3. Typically, like, if you're really good at yards after contact, you're going to be above 4. So he's more in that like mid to sub mid or average to sub average area. And I will say he's a work in progress as a pass catcher. Like, he needs to catch less with his body. That's typically how he tries to trap the ball between his hands and the body. And if he can get better at that, because like he's got a phenomenal skill set, like, to be a pass catcher, like what he can do after the catch. Like, I'm a big fan of his. And yeah, I got him here as a 4th rounder, and now we kind of get into my day 2 guys, which is very exciting because I think this class is actually pretty darn good. And we're going to talk about Will Shipley here out of Clemson. I'm sure some people probably think he should be higher on the list, but I think that's fine because what he brings to the table, I think he's an exceptionally good receiving back. That's kind of where I have his role in the NFL. Dude was a former 5-star recruit from the 2021 class, 5'11", 205. He didn't play his senior year of high school because it got moved to the spring because of the Rona, because that ruined everyone's lives. And instead, he decided to enroll early at Clemson. This is the cat that played lacrosse. I believe his brother currently plays lacrosse at the University of Penn. But he also took part in track. And yeah, dude's a black belt in karate as well. That's kind of wild. I did want to mention this just because I like to see guys that have like good character, like flags. He fundraised for Levine Children's Hospital, and he did this with teammate freaking KJ Henry, who's in the NFL. I think he's going to be for the Commanders. So Yeah, good on you, man. Good on y'all. He played 10 games his freshman season with 4 starts. Last year was kind of the coming out party for him, where he started all 14 games. He was the first player in ACC history to get first team all conference honors for 3 different positions, being running back, all purpose, and return specialist. So you love to see it. So with that being said, this is obviously a guy that can do it in the passing game. This is a guy that can do it in the kick return game. He goes from 0 to 60 exceptionally quick, explodes off that plant foot, and he gets to the second level in a no time. He's got really good stop-start ability, just plays with light feet. He knows how to get nimble between blocks, very shifty ball carrier. He has very good patience, very good vision. He follows his blocks, and he knows when to slam on that gas. I said he brings a little return game to the repertoire as well. Dude's got solid hands as a receiver, and that's kind of where I think he's going to make his money as a pass catcher in the NFL. The dude is a bit lean, and I think it's kind of noticeable on contact. He just lacks like the bulk, especially in the lower body, to just drive through general contact or arm tackles and whatnot. He's usually just stopped on first contact. Another guy that I don't think has that home run speed, but you don't necessarily need it in the NFL. Does need to do a better job holding on to the football. 4 fumbles last season, so hopefully he can improve on that. But I got a 3rd round grade on him. Let's go ahead and move to number 7 here. In Oregon's own Bucky Irving, coming in at 5'10", 194. So yeah, he's a little smaller. He lacks that bulk, and that will be a concern, especially for a guy that honestly has never handled a full workload in his collegiate career. He's a former 4-star recruit out of the 2021 class. He didn't play his senior year because of the Rona, but he also played basketball back in high school. He was initially at Minnesota. He played in all 12 games as a rotation player behind, was that the year that Mo Ibrahim got hurt? I can't recall. But he played as a rotation player. He did see a significant amount of carries, 132. And he was also the kick return, but he decided to transfer after that season. Ended up in Oregon, where he played in all 13 games with 12 starts, but he did split time with, is it Noah Washington? Oh, I can't remember the other Oregon running back there. But the dude is electric with the football in his hands. He really is. He explodes out of the backfield once he touches the football, using those quick feet to just put defenders in difficult predicaments and force them to have to take difficult angles to make a tackle on him. Really good change of direction, really good stop-start ability, and he will beat defenders to the sideline, and he'll beat them out in space. Despite the slender frame, again, 5'10", 194, not all that big. Despite that, though, he eats contact pretty darn well. Part of that is his ability to just cause defenders to take tough angles on him. Also, part of that is like this dude, he drives through contact. He keeps that feet moving. He has a relatively low center of gravity as well. So all this kind of helps in him just being very having a very high like force missed tackle total. Ideally, I think he is a scat back. He brings return ability. He's got good route running. Dude's just a general playmaker in space, and I love it. Again, never really handled a full workload. Did handle one in last season. Did handle one at Minnesota in 2021. He doesn't have a frame that you think can take on a big workload. But in today's NFL, those bell cow backs, like they're few and far between. If you could get a good committee of guys, then you're generally A-okay. He is a bit inconsistent as a pass catcher, and sometimes he'll catch the ball with his body. As last season, his drop rate was 11.8%, which if you're above 10, then you're like, you need to work on those hands, bud. But I'm a big fan of Bucky Irving, but I think this is, I want to say this is where probably the class takes a step up. Yeah, no, let's go ahead with that. Yeah, I think this is where the class starts to get really good, as I'm going to talk about Donovan Edwards out of Michigan, coming in at 6'1", 204. The dude's a former 5-star recruit out of the 2021 class. He was Michigan's Gatorade Player of the Year in 2021. And on a more somber note, a guy that did deal with adversity in his life. His mother died when he was real young from cancer, and he was raised by a single father. So, yeah, I mean, that kind of sucks. But dealt with adversity well and made it here to Michigan. And when the opportunity presented itself, he shined. So in 2021, he was more of a rotation player, mainly a special team player, because he was stuck behind Hassan Haskins, piece of crap, by the way, and Blake Corum, who we're going to see later on the list. But last year, now he's splitting the time with Corum, and when Corum goes down, like, he stepped up tremendously. Like, his final 3 games of the season, the game against Ohio State, the Big Ten championship game against Purdue, and the TCU playoff game, he came up huge. And it becomes even more just mind-boggling that he was banged up. This guy played through the season with a torn patella, and he was playing through a fractured hand. He had a cast on. I think pretty sure he fractured the hand in the Ohio State game. I'm not positive. Don't quote me on that. But that's just wild, man. You love that. He is a big play hunter, man. He had 5 plays of 50-plus yards last season. He's exceptionally light on his feet. Good short area quicks. Very nimble between blocks. Shifty. Gets moving upfield in a hurry. He has that breakaway lawn speed. I know we talked about a couple of guys on this list already who lack that lawn speed. He ain't one of them. He got it. He got it, and he's got it in spades. He does a good job of changing direction and maintaining speed. I would say he's got adequate contact balance, and he will fly by arm tackles like nobody's business. He stays perpendicular on heel clicks, if that makes sense. Basically, when a guy is like going for a dive and drag type of tackle, he's running. Oh, here comes defender, perpendicular. He's staying up. He ain't going down. He ain't going parallel with this fool. He's staying up, and he's going through it. So there we go. Let me catch you up to my terminology of things. Fabulous receiving option, by the way. Very soft hands as a pass catcher. Good just hand-eye coordination when the ball's in air. There were times he lined up in the slot and even lined up out wide. So a very versatile player at that. I mean, we saw someone like Jahmyr Gibbs last season, someone who lined up a lot in the slot actually for Alabama, and we saw what that did for his draft stock in the NFL. And I would say Edwards is a very solid route runner as well. However, I will say that I don't think he's got elite explosiveness or elite burst, not like Jahmyr Gibbs did. Like, don't get me wrong, he's quick, he's fast. I just don't think it's to that level. But if you give this guy daylight, like, he'll be gone. But I'm not saying like he's like shot from a cannon, which is typically the terminology when you talk about a guy who's just stupid short area quick, stupid burst, stupid explosiveness. I wouldn't say he's shot out of a cannon. I guess it depends on the size of the cannon. Maybe if we're talking a slightly smaller cannon. I would say it's probably more so how like his burst looks like. I'm trying to think of a good metaphor here. I think this is good. Let's say you're on a treadmill, and instead of being shot from a cannon, you're hitting the speed up option on the treadmill. That's kind of how he picks up speed in a hurry. It sneaks up on you. He can be a bit impatient when waiting for blocks to develop. Far too often he's looking for that home run ball, and he gets caught in a phone booth, and he's likely going down on first contact there. Like, remember I said, like, if they can't get clean contact on him, then he's able to break tackles. But cleaner contact, he's usually going down. I don't think he's got really the full body strength to stay up there. Very incredible as a receiver, pass blocker. But if you have this cat on the field, I think you're wasting his skill set if you're gonna have him pass block. But yeah, Donovan Edwards, I'm a big fan of him. I can't wait to see more of him this year. And I said that, the class picks up here with Donovan Edwards. I think it really, though, and then it takes that next notch, because I got a midday 2 grade on Edwards, but now we're talking about guys I think are like second rounders, like top 60 to top 50. And we're going to start that with my boy, the Red Rocket out of Arkansas, Raheem Sanders. This dude is 6'2", 237 pounds. That's bonkers, man. That is bonkers especially when you consider how fast this cat is. He played running back and linebacker in high school, decided to stay at the running back position when he was recruited by Arkansas there. Played basketball as well. He also ran track and field, where he ran 11.31 in the 100 meter. He was used as a rotation player in 2021, but that's kind of where he was like, oh no, this guy's going to be the future running back here. And he started all 13 games this season, was first team all SEC. The dude's got a huge frame, as you can tell. He's unbelievably strong. The dude, I think, I was going to say he made Bruce Feldman's freaks list, but he should. He can bench 365 pounds. He can squat 515. And those numbers were actually among the best on the team. Like, this dude literally barrels through contact, and he absorbs contact extremely well. He can pinball in tight quarters and come out on the other end. A-okay, fine, on his feet, moving. He is a little taller, but I think he runs with a very good pad level. He'll run low, essentially. Just brushes off contact like it's nothing. Like bugs hitting a windshield even. That's kind of how he is. He can move piles if you need him to. Surprisingly, very explosive for a guy that size. Like the launch speed, really good. He shows good burst once he plants his foot. He's just tough to catch up to with his launch strides as well. Very solid hands in the passing game. He's got that a little bit of shimmy out in space. I love to see that little shimmy, little shake. Like, if already he wasn't like a nightmare for like a defensive back to handle, like with that, a man that size running at you, but you're going to tell me that this guy's got shake to him? That kind of sucks. Looking at the cons when it comes to Sanders, he did very often he was able to get wrapped up or tripped up when defenders targeted his legs from behind. So when he didn't see it, when it's out of the corner of his eye, like guys were able to get behind him, and like he always went down. Like I talked about how Donovan Edwards, if people would like heel clip him, he was able to stay perpendicular. Sanders, I felt more times than not, he would be tripped up and he would fall flat on his face. Like, this guy's legs are strong, so I need to see him break more of those type of tackles. His vision can be a bit inconsistent. Sometimes he spends too much time, much like I talked about with Donovan Edwards, looking for the home run ball, and I want to see him anticipate lanes a bit better. But in terms of, like, he's the package. He is him. He just needs to get that vision a bit better. But this is a guy on the up and up. Probably could, like I said, we're talking about guys that could potentially be like top 50 prospects here. So it's like, I know there's gonna be people in the comment section, oh, you should be much higher. It's like, there's some really good running backs in this class. Like, they just are. Speaking of which, we're gonna go to number 4. TreVeyon Henderson out of Ohio State. This one might be a hot take. I don't think so. I mean, these are preseason predictions, guys. We still got a season in front of us, so it's all projection at this point. But he's 5'10", 214. He was formerly a 5-star recruit out of the 2021 class. He was the number 1 running back recruit after finishing his high school career with over 4,000 yards and 50 touchdowns. He was Virginia's Gatorade Player of the Year in 2019 when he ran for almost 2,500 yards and 45 touchdowns. Fun fact, he's got a track background as well. Now, he put his name on the map in 2021 as a freshman. Like, we were talking about, like, oh, who's the better back in the country? Is it Bijan or is it TreVeyon Henderson? And then 2022 happened, where he started 8 games, but he missed 5. And, like, the 8 games he played, like, he was playing through injury. Like, we're talking broken bone in his foot, torn ligaments in his foot. Like, he suffered this against Toledo in week 3. Because you could look at the opening games, like Notre Dame, like, radically different player from then the rest of the season. So we're talking about a radically different player than the year prior. So it's kind of the call. Like, do you believe he is going to return to what we saw in 2021? Do you think it's going to maybe fall somewhere in between what we saw this past season when he wasn't healthy and what we saw in 2021? That's kind of the question. Where do you think his ceiling is? And I feel like, quite frankly, it's what we thought in 2021. So I feel like it's safe to have I think he's going to, a lot of people, you're going to include him in your top 5 because he's that talented. But I guess let's go into what I like and what I dislike about him. He's got a good, your ideal build for a running back. He's got good muscle on his frame. A dude that looks shot out of a cannon. There we go. Whenever he plants his foot, he just goes. Legit daylight runner with breakaway speed. He plays with quick feet and has some serious shake to him. A little shimmy. He's able to juke and can make guys miss at the second level or out in space. He is just flat out a playmaker, and he makes it hard for defenders to even put a hand on him. Plays with really good vision, good patience, and will cut on a dime and just explode up field. Love to see it. Good feel for Russian lanes regardless of scheme, and very, very soft hands. Very capable at making plays after the catch as well. 7 forced missed tackles or at least on 27 receptions and 1 drop from 2021. Like I said, I felt like I referenced 2021 a lot because I feel like his 2022 tape is kind of just throw it away. Let's see what he looks like again when healthy. So there you go. And that's kind of going to be the big question. Like, how will he look between, like, in 2023? That's going to be a big indicator. I will say isn't the most creative as a runner. He will sometimes get too bouncy in the backfield if he doesn't necessarily see the hole. And sometimes if you don't see, like, sometimes if there ain't a hole, open it up. You just got to, like, plant your foot, lower your shoulder, and go. He does appear to have, I would say, a thinner lower body. It doesn't necessarily eat contact well below the waist. And I think this was noticeable against better competition, is where he would go down go down on first contact against better competition. That's even in 2021. And I will say this isn't even really a con. This is just something I noticed, but when he is moving and trying to change direction or begins to throw a shake, like, his free hand, he does like the craziest stuff with it. At first I was like, because it looks like he's just constantly balancing on a tightrope with how he moves his free hand. And at first I was like, man, this looks comedic, man. Just throw some like Benny Hill music behind it, because that's for some of y'all old folks. But for my younger viewers, like, sometimes you could play the Pirates of the Caribbean music, and he's got like the Jack Sparrow run going. Like, I don't know. I thought it was kind of wild. That was just something I noticed when I was watching tape. Maybe it's just me, but I had a lot of fun with him. Number 3 here on the list. This probably will surprise some people. It's Blake Corum, someone who I had as my running back 2 before he decided to return. But I think the guys ahead of him, I think they got some good upside to him. But Blake Corum coming in at 5'8", 210 pounds, had a phenomenal season last year where he was a first-team All-American before he tore his meniscus and sprained his MCL against Illinois. He would see 2 carries in their following game, but ultimately would just be shut down for the remainder of the season. Decided to return, which I'm kind of curious about. I thought he would have been after Bijan, one of the top running backs taken. Like, I don't know how much did the injury really affect his projection. Or maybe he just wanted to come back because he thinks his team's going to win a national championship. I don't know. I don't know what his motives were, but I found it surprising. And we're going to see another year for him. And admittedly, he is going to be one of the older guys on the list here, as he'll be 23 by the time his rookie year starts. So after he's drafted, rookie year starts, he'll be 23. All the other guys on this list, outside of Rasheed Ali, are 22, 21, and in one person's case, they'll be 20 by the time their rookie year starts. So kind of wild. So he's actually one of the older guys in the top 10 here. He is actually the oldest guy at the top 10 here. But the dude has a nice low center of gravity at 5'8", so nice natural low center of gravity. He combines that with very good stop-start ability, just makes it hard for you to put a hand on him. Quick feet, lightning quick feet, very dangerous out in space. I love the patience he runs with, probably has the best vision of any of the backs in this class, and he's just very naturally nimble between blocks. He knows how to get skinny, good change of direction, and very good contact balance. Like, he boasts a very strong lower body and shows determination every time he gets the ball, especially in close quarters. Did run the basic route tree for Michigan, but has displayed very soft hands, no drops in 2022. To be fair, everything when it comes to Corum, at least in the cons department, it's size related. He's a shorter back who just will naturally have smaller strides and affects his long speed. He doesn't really have desirable, I don't think has the most desirable getaway speed, and it's just because of that, he's gonna get caught down when he sees daylight. His pass pro is kind of a work in progress, and I don't think he's going to be a guy you want in pass protection anyway. Like, his height gives him good leverage, but he just naturally lacks that strength to block bigger defenders. Like, all in all, man, I love Blake Corum. I just think the 2 guys in front of him might have a bit more upside. And we're going to start that with Braylon Allen out of Wisconsin. Little T-Pain for y'all. 6'2", 238 pounds. So he's as big as the Rocket, the Red Rocket out of Arkansas there, and Raheem Sanders. Not nearly as fast. He's not, don't get me wrong, he ain't the straight line athlete. This is the cat that actually will be 20. He'll actually still be 19 when drafted, and then he'll be 20 at the beginning of his rookie season if he declares for the draft. But former 4-star recruit out of the 2022 class. Actually, no, yeah. But then he decided to reclassify and join the Badgers in 2021. Was initially recruited to play linebacker or maybe even safety, but they decided to go with him at running back, and it ended up being the right choice. This guy's been phenomenal. His freshman season, he joined Wisconsin greats like Ron Dane, James White, Jonathan Taylor as guys who ran for over 1,000 yards as a true freshman. So you love to see it. He missed one game last season because of a leg injury, and he was basically playing the whole season last year with a shoulder injury. Still made second team All Big Ten. Ran for over 1,200 yards, 11 tutties. No big deal. But let's get into some of the pros and cons when it comes to Allen. He made Bruce Foreman's freaks list for power cleaning 406 pounds. Squatting 610 pounds, and bench pressing 365 pounds. As a big boy, but he's also been recorded for his 10-yard split, 1.49. That's shifty as hell, and you can kind of tell that by how he plays the freaking game. Because for a big guy, he is so light on his feet. Like, he is way more shifty than you would ever expect for a man his size. He possesses very good lateral ability, rare nimbleness for someone his size between the tackles, and he pairs that with very good vision, very good patience, something that Raheem Sanders really needs to work on. Like, if your vision's not that good, you're going to struggle in the NFL. I'm not saying Sanders is bad, but it's not nearly as consistent as Allen's here. Dude's big, he's powerful, he displays good contact balance, keeps a very good pad level despite being a taller back. He has strength throughout the whole frame, and that's just evident. This dude just absorbs contact regardless of where it's at on his body. He finishes runs, and he will keep his feet moving through contact, because I do like me that. Surprisingly soft hands as a receiver. Like, he isn't like a natural receiver by any means, but sometimes he will try to catch with his body. But I think if he really works on that hand-eye coordination, like, he could honestly be a scary pass catcher, because he has demonstrated like that he probably has huge hands. That's what it is. But where he could just snatch the ball out of the air. So like watch out, man. This guy, I'm not saying he's gonna be like a receiving game like nightmare, but you get him out like on a screen or a swing pass, like, that could be scary, especially for the defensive backs. The dude lacks explosiveness, launch speed, it ain't anything. But I mean, that's not his game. What you like about his game is his ability to keep moving forward through contact, his vision, how shifty he is around the line of scrimmage. Like, that's all big pluses. Really is. I mean, shoot, like the dude had 6 carries of 30 plus yards or more. Like, dogs are fine, and they can't decide who's better, Braylon Allen or Raheem Sanders. I'm telling y'all, for me it's Allen right now, guys. Sorry. He will need to polish some of the stuff in the passing game. I kind of already mentioned that. He could be a bit slow going from a pass catcher to a ball carrier. So essentially catching the ball and turning upfield. He just honestly just needs more reps in the passing game. And he's going to get it this year with Fickle now in Wisconsin. So it's going to actually be a bit interesting. But my number 1, Trey Benson out of Florida State. I'm a huge fan. I was a huge fan of his last year. I was kind of shocked that he decided not to declare, but I get it. Florida State, they're probably going to be competing. Definitely, they're big contenders in the ACC, but they could be competing for a national championship next year. But he initially went to Oregon, and unfortunately, like his freshman season, he has suffered a major knee injury on a non-contact. It was a non-contact injury while he was on the scout team. Had to redshirt in the 2020 season, and then in 2021 he was coming back from that, but he was stuck behind guys like CJ Verdell and Travis Dye, and ended up deciding to transfer after the 2021 season, where it was like, hey man, I'm just stuck on this depth chart. He goes to Florida State, where he played in all 13 games, made 6 starts, made second team all ACC, and you'll be like, you look at his stats, you're like, oh, he was just under 1,000 yards. Like, okay, what's so great about him? It's the freaking amount of carries this dude got. He wasn't given a ton of work, yet he produced, and he produced well. This dude is electric. 6'1", 220 pounds, freaking speedy as hell, explosive as hell, great contact balance, eats contact exceptionally well. I probably should read off my notes. I'm just talking what I like about him. Like, the dude's got kick return ability as well, and he needs to be explored more as a receiving threat in the passing game. So let me just read from my notes. The dude shows patience, the vision, extraordinary. Once he plants his foot, he explodes, gets to the second level quickly, absorbs contact relatively easy, runs through tackles. Like, nobody's business, never stops his feet, and he finishes runs. I love the foot speed, his ability to shimmy, whether it's out in space or in close quarters. He consistently creates plus runs. 79 force missed tackles in 2022, was 6th most in the nation, despite having almost 100 or more fewer attempts than the guys ahead of him. His force missed tackle rate was insane. It really, really was, man. The dude has this cat has low mileage, and I mean he's guaranteed he's probably going to be the bell cow next season or this season for Florida State, and I can't wait. Like, one of my things was, okay, what can he handle a workload? Because, like, I'm not too worried about, okay, he had the major knee injury, but it seems like he's bounced back from that, but he's never had, like, I think only one game he's had more than 20 carries. So I'm kind of curious to see if he could be someone who can handle a workload. I want to see him used more on passing downs. He only has 12 career receptions. I want to see that number get better. And he will run with a bit of a high pad level. But I mean, the dude stays balanced regardless. Like, yeah, I'd like to see him run a little lower, but who the hell cares? Like, the dude produces. I'm really, like, again, this is more of a projection on my part, because I was a big fan of his last year, and I was kind of surprised no one was really talking about him. And yeah, no, I'm gonna go ahead and send it. This is my running back one this season. It's gonna be Trey Benson. But that's it for the video. A couple other names that I kind of want to mention before we get out here. I know Carson Steele's going to appear in the comment section. He was running back 11 for me. He's a power back. No real, like, speed or explosiveness to his game, but the dude eats contact like it's nobody's business. Marshawn Lloyd at USC is someone that I also really liked. I like guys with that low center of gravity that are a bit beefier. But he's also explosive. Now he goes from one USC to the other. So he's going from South Carolina to actual USC. There's guys like Mayan Williams and Audric Esteem out of Notre Dame. Bigger backs that aren't necessarily like the fastest or most explosive guys, but they go in, they do their job, they can eat contact. Some people like Blake Watson he's now at Memphis, used to be at Old Dominion. He's kind of a scat back to me. Like, I don't know. There's like this tier of scat backs that I'm kind of interested to see how they do this season. Like, Blake Watson's one. Dogs are playing. Gotta love it. You got Frank Gore Jr., Trayshawn Ward, Day Hunter, who hasn't even decided on school yet. So there's a couple of guys there that are kind of like in that ballpark. But I don't know. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Who are some names you think should have been on the list, or maybe guys that I need to go back and watch, or maybe even watch for the first time. But that's it for the video. Go ahead, do the YouTube thing as always. Until next time, you be easy, my friends. Later.